Plotaholics, ripping plots apart for you.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Okay, hey everybody, we are back.
We have
Bryan,
returned.
welcome back.
Thank you. It was a great time. It was a great trip. We made it to and from safely and sound.
Yeah, you went to Chicago.
Yes, I did. Myself,
Chi-town.
the Windy Apple. City. Yeah, it was myself, Sharon, and my son, Bryan Jr., who is actually going to join us in our mini review segment.
All right, very excited to have Bryan Jr. as a special reporter on this episode of the Plotaholics.
Oh, absolutely.
So we have a lot to hit on today, and I don't know where to start. I guess we should probably start with the big news of today, which is the Charlie's Angels first look.
Now, I saw this trailer today, actually. I took Bryan, the dude, and myself. We went to go see Spider-Man Far From Home. That was our second movie that we saw this week. We saw Hobbs and Shaw yesterday.
Yeah. Now, you had seen Far From Home already, right?
Yeah, I did. But it was cool to be able to watch it without a reviewer mindset. I just watched it this time.
Yeah.
And this trailer was actually attached to Spider-Man Far From Home. Okay. And my first impression of it is, wow, Kristen Stewart, where did she get all this? Where did she get a personality?
Yeah,
oh my God.
Let's take a gander at
let's do that.
At part of the trailer, the Charlie's Angels. Do you call this a reboot?
I would call it I don't know. Are the characters the same? Are they different characters?
I honestly couldn't tell you. We can talk a little bit more about that at the end.
Yeah. Let me
newly released Charlie's Angels trailer.
I think women can do anything.
Just because they can doesn't mean they should.
But I have so many talents.
It's like I'm powerful with a little bit of tender.
I'm just the decoy stud.
That's just the way you make me feel.
Who steals your manager? Need money.
Outstanding angels.
You have a new client?
Who is she?
I can't sleep at night.
I'm the lead programmer on a product that can revolutionize the power industry, but there is a possibility it can be weaponized.
Elena, we need to go.
No! You're not a waitress? No, I'm Jane. Oh. Who are you?
I'm Bosley.
Welcome to the Townsend Agency. We exist because traditional law enforcement can't keep up.
I don't like that, boy.
You guys are like lady spies. Jane's former MI6.
Oh, God. What did you do to Sven?
I compressed his carotid and deoxygenated his brainstem.
Well, that sounds painful.
Don't worry, he's gonna wake up.
Unless he doesn't.
Sabina runs the ground game.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I feel like these aren't the same characters.
I don't think they are. I really don't think they are.
We're gonna need some wigs, toys, clothes. Ah, we're still in the first closet.
There's another closet.
Oh, Vince.
Let's just stop the touching. Some of these blows up.
I gotta tell you, I don't hate this thing.
I don't hate it either. I don't hate it. Like I said, I'm not a Kristen Stewart fan by any means. But this is a pretty cool trailer. This is okay by me. I'm like I said, really Kristen Stewart is actually really good in this.
And then the iconic shot there.
And I love the multiple Bosleys that it looks like we're gonna have.
Yeah,
I think that's great. It makes perfect sense. This actually looks more interesting to me than the previous Charlie's Angels series with
Diaz one, right?
Yeah, the Cameron Diaz one with Lucy Liu and Drew Barrymore.
That one I was not a huge fan of that.
Neither was I.
Were there only 2 of those movies?
Yeah, thank God. Like the only good part about those movies to me was Bill Murray, and then they got rid of Bill Murray.
Yeah, I think the big get for this movie is Patrick Stewart. We talked about this off the air a little bit. His voice, man, like Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, well, he's freaking Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, he lends a gravitas to everything he does.
Absolutely. So no, I think I'll probably go. I'll go and see this most likely. I'll go see it to review it.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like it's going to be fun.
Yeah, could be good. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like that's really it for Charlie's Angels for me. I didn't even know this was happening until today.
You know what? I had heard about it, but I had no real interest in it. I wanted nothing to do with it. As soon as I heard that Kristen Stewart was involved, I wanted nothing to do with this at all. And now that, I've had a chance to watch it, like I said, I'm definitely all for it. I'm all for it. Sign me up. I'll go see it to review it. Before, if you would have asked me about it, I would have said that I won't even go see this to review it.
Yeah. There's a little bit of hesitance here, just that maybe everything that you see in the trailer is the best that you're going to get.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm worried about also. But again, I'm a big fan. I'm a Naomi Scott fan now after seeing her in Aladdin and, seeing her even in the previous Power Rangers movie. I'm a fan of hers now.
Yeah.
So I'll go see what Naomi Scott is in at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I like her enough to be willing to do that.
Brian, we jumped this thing off and we must have been a little rusty because we completely forgot to mention what has become an epic summer over on the Plotaholics podcast.
Oh my goodness, we are. I apologize, guys. We're off our game. I'm so sorry. The summer of Cusack. We are finishing up. We're winding down on the summer of Cusack. Tomorrow night, we're actually going to be recording the final episode of the summer of Cusack with the classic Cusack. Say Anything.
It's what made Cusack Cusack.
Absolutely. Before, Cusack was just the nerdy kid's friend. Now he's going to be Cusack.
That's right. Yeah.
I'll actually be introducing the duder to this as well tonight.
Nice. Have you seen this before?
No, I have not. Because you figure back when it first came out, it was one of those romance. It was like straight up romance. I wouldn't watch those.
Yeah, you're gonna enjoy it, I think.
I'm sure I will. This is actually the one that I've been the most excited for, to be honest. I mean, I was excited to do Hot Tub Time Machine. I was excited to do One Crazy Summer, but this is the one that I think this is going to be the one. This one has the opportunity to actually maybe even upseed Grosse Pointe Blank, I think.
Yeah, it could. It really could. So everybody will be able to catch Say Anything. The podcast will be up on Monday, the 12th.
Yep.
So be sure to tune in.
And we've got so much more coming up on the podcast side.
Absolutely. We're going to take a little respite from our themes for just one episode. Yep. And then we're going to hit you real hard come September. So get yourselves ready.
Oh, yeah. You're gonna you better have your caps on and be ready to go because it's about to get fire.
That's right. All right, so we kick things off with the Charlie's Angels trailer. The other big news that we've gotten this week already is that Venom 2 has found its director.
Oh man, Andy Serkis, aka Ulysses Claw, aka was it Supreme Leader Snoke, aka Gollum Smeagol himself,
aka Caesar.
Caesar is going to be directing Venom 2.
Yeah,
and you know what?
And most people will know Andy Serkis for his, really just the mastery of motion capture acting.
Absolutely, and he was King Kong.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has done it better than him.
Absolutely not, because he made doing motion capture acting a craft.
Yeah,
and
it's
now
wild that he doesn't have an Oscar.
exactly, and now we've got people doing motion capture as freaking cats, and I'm not even going to talk about that because that's like the worst thing to happen abroad to New York's since like wow. Anyway,
since rats.
Yeah. No, I was gonna compare it to something else, and I realized that'd be in poor taste. That's almost as much poor taste as the following joke that I heard while watching Dragon Ball Z abridged with the Duder. Hey Shane, what's the opposite of Christopher Walken?
I don't know.
Christopher Reeve. Yep.
I mean, right. All right. Well, I'll trust your judgment.
Yeah. If I say it's in poor taste, it's in poor taste.
Yeah. How do you feel about this pick? Has Andy Serkis directed yet?
I don't believe so. I do not believe that is something. I'm actually getting ready to go into my Google machine and
I was
check.
wondering. I was about to do the same. I think that what Andy Serkis can do for the effects in Venom 2 could be really great.
And you know what? I'm really hoping that. Let me see. He does have some directing credits. He was a second unit director for the Hobbit films.
Okay.
He made his directorial debut with Breathe.
Okay.
Starring, it looks like Andrew Garfield, Claire Foy, Hugh Bonneville, Tom Hollander.
So he's been behind the camera before.
Yep.
You know what's interesting to me about this choice? My biggest beef with Venom 1. Well, one of my biggest beefs with Venom 1.
I didn't like Venom 1 to be honest.
It wasn't great, and part of my problem with it is anytime you have these symbiote type characters fighting each other or going against each other, they tend to start to look the same.
Yeah.
And so I think what maybe Andy Serkis will be able to do as a director is to coach these actors in mannerisms that can differentiate these characters from each other.
Right. And I think that with him being the director, he'll also have control over the editing and things like that. So he can make sure in post that it can look good.
Absolutely.
He also directed the most recent, I believe it was the most recent Jungle Book movie, Mowgli.
Oh yeah, that was the one that went straight to Netflix.
Yeah. So, but I'm excited in the sense that he does sort of bring a certain pedigree and gravitas, much in the same way that Patrick Stewart does. And if they do continue with what they ended the first Venom on with
Carnage,
with the amazing freaking Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy, then I think this could be great. However, I love Tom Hardy, but I didn't love Venom. I mean, it was cool, but it wasn't like I expected more. Yeah. And I think Venom is the reason why Sony needs to just give Spider-Man back to Marvel. I mean, I'm sorry.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, just give all of Spider-Man back to Marvel, because I really feel like Marvel could have done a much better job portraying Eddie. I feel like they could have done a better job. Like Venom as a character wasn't bad. Right. I think that Tom Hardy really didn't capture the Eddie Brock character. And once again, how are you going to have Venom without Spider-Man?
That was a big sticking point for me too, for sure.
But with Andy Serkis behind the camera, and if Woody Harrelson is in it, I'm going to see it.
Yeah, and I think Woody Harrelson will elevate that film.
Oh, absolutely. I think part of Tom Hardy's biggest problem in that movie, you look at some of the films that he's done where he's been applauded for. You know, he was being directed by Christopher Nolan, and he was starring opposite Christian Bale.
Yeah, he needs a good foil.
He really does. He needs someone with a lot of talent to help bring that out. Because I mean, even with Mad Max Fury Road, he had Charlize Theron.
Yeah, but if you're putting Venom up against another, crazy CGI like Venom looking symbiote looking character, then you need somebody like Woody Harrelson in that suit, or it's just gonna.
Yeah, it's just not going to work.
Look like the same.
Exactly. It's going to fall apart. It's not going to work. So I'm interested. They do have my attention.
Yeah.
At this
This
point.
is a good hire, I think. So.
Oh, I agree. This is a major boon, I think.
I wanted Bryan to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about one of your loves, which is Supernatural.
Oh my God. I am falling apart inside that this is the final season of Supernatural. It's killing me that after 15 years, Supernatural is going away. However, I love what Jensen Ackles said recently, courtesy of comingsoon.net, where he said that, we're going away for a little while. And if they want me back, I'll be back. I'm paraphrasing here. And this makes me happy because, Supernatural has attempted 2 backdoor pilots and neither one of them is picked up as of yet, which was really upsetting because I really felt like the Chicago setting for the first pilot that they were trying to do, I think that it had a lot of promise. And then the Wayward Sisters that didn't get picked up, I felt like it had a lot of promise as well because it was going to be, some fan favorite supporting characters finally getting the chance to sort of take center stage. Yeah. So the fact that, Jensen Ackles right now, who is really heavily involved in the creative process, as is Jared Padalecki with Eric Kripke, I'm excited to know that he's willing to come back. I actually pulled this quote from the Television Critics Association.
That we got this from. Ackles says, "It's a long journey that I don't think is ever going to be over. I think we're just going to go away for a while. For how long, I don't know. I'm not ever ready to close doors or burn bridges. I think that's foolish. Am I saying there's something in the works? No. Am I saying I'm open to conversations in the future? Why not?"
That means that there's something being talked about right now.
Yeah, but he also kind of just feels like somebody who's been in a relationship for 15 years and is afraid for it to end,
Well, yeah, because you figure before he did Supernatural, he was on Smallville. That was one of his, and I agree with Anita 100%. Wayward Sisters would have been amazing. Yeah. But Jensen Ackles, he was in Smallville. He did a story. He did a villain arc, and like I said, I was hating him at first because he broke up Clark and Lana, and then he was on. Then all of a sudden, they kill off his character, and then he's going to be on this new show. And then the guy, one of the bullies from frickin' Cheaper by the Dozen 2, and Rory's boyfriend plays his brother. What the hell is that? And then 5 years later, I'm hooked. Yeah. So I seriously think that for him to come out and say, am I saying that anything is in the works? No. That tells me that there's at least some preliminary talk.
Probably,
And I think part of the
thing's been too successful and too many of the people are willing to work on another project for them not to. I mean, that's a CW show, right?
Yes, it is. It's a CW show.
CW is losing a handful of shows in the next few years, and it's going to
they're going to need it. Oh, absolutely. Well, you keep in mind, this is one of the last surviving of the WB. This is probably the last surviving WB show. And and the thing is too, I think part of the reason why none of the spinoffs got picked up was because Supernatural was still going so strong.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if, say, it's 2020 is going to be when the final episode airs. It wouldn't surprise me if, say, 2023, 2024, we get Supernatural spinoff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Bryan, I have some good Plotaholics news.
Oh, I love Plotaholics news.
Earlier this year, we recorded a very special episode of the Plotaholics podcast celebrating The Matrix and its 20th anniversary.
That was episode 2.
Just been announced.
Oh, The Matrix is coming back to theaters. And you know what? I am going to get, if they're going to have it in 3D, XD.
Oh, I'm here for it.
I'm there. You know what? I'm pulling out the PVC outfit. I'm pulling out the trench coat. I'm pulling out the sunglasses. I am ready for it. I cannot wait. This is it. I mean, this is a film that redefined the action genre, the action film genre. This is a film that rekindled the careers of both Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu Reeves. And yes,
one of the part of the title for today's episode is the power of nostalgia.
Yes.
And we have a ton of nostalgia in today's lineup of news. The Matrix coming back to theaters is a part of that. We've seen that re-releases can be incredibly profitable for some of these movies. Avatar, Titanic. That's the James Cameron model.
Yeah, really. Just keep re-releasing it until I get the box office that I want. Let's do that.
And so the Matrix is coming back.
I can't wait.
I think we've got a comment here from Bryan Jr.
Where am I getting all what?
The costume, I think.
Oh, well, I've got a trench coat at my mother's house. I got a trench coat at Grammy's house. As far as the PVC, that was a joke. There's no way my chubby behind is getting into a PVC outfit unless it was made to cover a Buick.
There you go.
And right now, Sharon is giving me the dirtiest of dirty looks because I started making fat jokes toward myself in Chicago, and she actually got really mad at me.
Well, speaking of fat jokes and Stay Puffed,
that is a great segue, my friend.
And the next big chunk of nostalgia for us is in the shape of
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters 2020. And our first photos from the set, and we can just peel through these pretty quick.
Absolutely. So, even right there, Ecto 1 rusted out looking like crap. Love it. I love
these
it.
photos courtesy of TMZ, a sentence I never thought I would say.
I'm serious because I'm not a fan of TMZ. I'm really not.
They do get some of these scoops though, and then from Instagram, we got this
Stay Puft marshmallows. That is so great. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is such an endearing character. Like, not even from even though he looked all nice and friendly in the first movie, and then his the gravitas, we keep throwing that word around tonight, continued in the real Ghostbusters animated series, which was so great. I'm excited.
The word gravitas might be our word of the day.
I think so.
Gravitas. So that's
the
your
exercise bike just like freaked out.
Yeah, so we're still a ways off from Ghostbusters and knowing really anything about the plot. But what it looks like is they are really going to try. They're going to go in hard on capturing the spirit of the original.
Well, apparently Sigourney Weaver is coming back. So is Annie Potts, and I believe Sigourney Weaver went on record saying that the original surviving cast is coming back.
That's awesome.
Which is great. And then we're going to have old cast members, new cast members, and there's going to be a heartfelt Harold Ramis something in there.
Yeah,
so I'll be in the theaters.
This Ghostbusters thing, Ghostbusters 1 was like a perfect movie.
It truly was. That's definitely a zero-shot film.
Yeah, the original franchise starts to teeter after that. But Ghostbusters 1 was so good.
Well, the cartoon, I love the cartoon because the cartoon.
I don't know that I ever watched the cartoon.
Then get on Netflix, friend.
Oh, is it there?
Yeah, it's on Netflix because it's a great continuation. Like there's actually an episode that explains because you said you don't think you've seen the cartoon, but in the cartoon they had different uniforms. They actually have an episode explaining why they changed their uniforms.
Gotcha. And
it actually goes to show why the first couple seasons of the cartoon were a great follow-up. When it became Slimer and the real Ghostbusters, then it was just like,
yeah. I love that first movie. Obviously, we all know that the reboot from a few years ago tanked in spite of a great cast. Is a movie that I really wanted to like.
Right, man, the cartoon. And I wanted to love that movie too. I went to the theaters with zero expectations, and I mean, Kate McKinnon was amazing.
They're all good.
Everyone was good.
They just got saddled with a shitty script, and that's a real shame because that's one of those movies that now all of the dude bros can point to that as their poster example of why these movies shouldn't be given female casts.
And I really I'm upset that the dude bros get such ammunition because they're shitheads.
They are shitheads.
You know, and all the negativity surrounding that film before it even came out, before anyone even saw a trailer, it just pissed me off. And it even added to the negativity because when it came out that Jason Reitman was going to pick up where his father left off, then you had what is her name? She played Patty, the black lady from Saturday Night Live.
Oh, Leslie Jones.
Yeah, Leslie Jones then started going off, and you know that a lot of her anger toward that was from those dude bros giving her a hard time.
Yeah,
so,
well, and you know what we do with shitheads, Brian?
Yes, they deserve it. That's what you get. If you're a dude bro, He-Man, woman-hating racist, that's what you get. You get the Kung Lao treatment.
Absolutely. So let's see. That is your Ghostbusters update. And the nostalgia rides on with the big reveal this weekend.
Oh,
of the
I cannot wait. I haven't watched this yet, but I cannot wait. Are You Afraid of the Dark? If you do not remember watching this show on Nick at Night as a kid, God.
It was a part of what was called SNCC. It was Nickelodeon's Saturday night lineup. It was it was a part of like Kablam was in there, all that, Kenan and Kel.
Yeah. Well, Kenan and Kel came after all that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. I think it was even before because I know Ren and Stimpy was on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think all that. Ren and Stimpy, all that, and then Are You Afraid of the Dark was last.
Yeah.
And I think Kablam wasn't on that too. Yeah. And Are You Afraid of the Dark?
They went through a couple of different lineups over the years, but Are You Afraid of the Dark was so good and
staple.
I was actually really interested to see how you felt about Are You Afraid of the Dark. I wasn't sure if it missed you, like if you were a little too old for it, or if you were right in the sweet spot.
I loved it so much. I was right there. Well, you figure I'm looking it up now. It aired 7 seasons on Nickelodeon. It originally aired in 1990, and then it ended in 1996.
Mm-hmm.
So I was still in on it. I think I watched it from 1990 to say like 1995.
Yeah, and see, I sort of caught the tail end of it because when it started, I was still a hair too young for my parents to trust it.
Right.
But this show was so interesting and so important because once I did discover it, I've discovered old episodes and everything. And it was sort of like my gateway to Goosebumps and some of these other things. And
exactly.
And horror for children or teenagers is such a difficult thing to get right.
Right.
And Are You Afraid?
You don't want it to be hokey, but you don't want it to be it.
Right. And Are You Afraid of the Dark just absolutely got it. We have the teaser here for you, Brian. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it, unfortunately.
Well, I heard the last trailer. So
well, this one is coming at you a different way, so we'll see. But there's not much to hear. It's mostly visual, so
that's even better.
Here is the teaser trailer for Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. I call this story Are You Afraid of the Dark?
So this thing looks like it looks like it's going to be it's going to lean into it a little bit more. It looks like the effects budget is there. These monsters and everything look really great.
Yeah, it kind of, what it kind of reminds me of? I couldn't hear it, by the way. But
yeah.
I think what it sort of reminds me of, sort of what they're going on is, I know you probably haven't been checking it out, but on WWE programming, the character Bray Wyatt has recently resurfaced, and he's been sort of having sort of a scarier moniker. That's kind of what I got, and I did get kind of some nostalgic chills, man. I can't wait.
Well, I love that they're calling it a revival and not a reboot.
I think the term reboot is so soured with fans. That
a revival implies that we're just kind of like, it's the Midnight Society. They're still calling themselves the Midnight Society,
right?
And so there's It
could be the children of the original Midnight Society.
Absolutely, or anybody, right?
Mm-hmm. And that was the best part about it, is that the Midnight Society, they go to different schools. They don't hang out together.
The premise of that show, the premise of the stories was always really great, but just the premise of the framing story, right? Of these kids that would get together at night and tell ghost stories around a campfire is a really great story.
And I love the submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society.
Absolutely.
I love that. You know, that kind of reminds me of, and the title of the movie escapes me, sadly, which is weird. But I know that Christine Taylor, aka Mrs. Ben Stiller, was in the movie. And it sort of felt like it had an "Are You Afraid of the Dark" feeling to it. So that sort of brought that back to me as well. So I'm very excited for this revival. I can't wait. I'm sure I'll be going to see that alone as well because
this is actually a miniseries that'll go to Nickelodeon.
Oh, it's a Nickelodeon miniseries. I thought it was going to be a movie.
Yeah, no, this is a series. They're doing the old school like series of different stories.
Nice. Well, then I have a reason to watch Nickelodeon again.
There you go. Yeah. Maybe they'll bring back all that with a new cast and everything, which they actually have been talking about doing. So
that would be cool. Campfire Tales was the name of the movie that I was talking about.
Gotcha.
That stars a pre-X-Men James Marsden.
Nice.
With Ron Livingston and Amy Smart as well. So this was before people really got famous.
Yeah. Well, it is time, Brian, for a new segment, one that we've kind of unofficially been doing for a while.
Yep, but now it's becoming an official thing. I can't.
Yeah, because it's too big of a deal not to just devote half of our show to it every week.
Is it vinyl in the background? Are we going to call it vinyl in the background?
We're going to call it vinyl in the background. No.
Woohoo! Because you got vinyl.
Here we go. The stream wars, Brian, are upon us.
Stream wars coming to you. Coming to you.
The first shots were fired years ago in the stream wars. I actually wrote an entire scroll for that graphic.
Oh man, you gotta include that. Man.
I gotta include the whole thing, right?
Yes, you do.
Next week we'll get the whole thing in the mix.
You are too talented to stifle yourself.
But it talks about how like Disney Plus is this like dark force that's like moving across the galaxy.
They break for no one.
Right, exactly. And speaking of Disney Plus, we'll start there actually because we got news this afternoon right before we came on. There was the Disney had their third quarter investors phone call today, and so they were talking about some of the things that they have going on, and they announced during that call that for the Disney Plus streaming service they will be rebooting or revitalizing or reimagining, if you will, 3 popular franchises. Those franchises being Home Alone, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and Night at the Museum.
Okay.
So what this says to me, Brian, is that these are probably going to be series, with the exception maybe of Home Alone, but like Night at the Museum and Diary of a Wimpy Kid feels like it's going to be a kid's show, you know?
Well, I wonder how many Home Alone movies do we have to do? Because I mean, Kevin gets cancer and he starts, putting people in traps. And oh wait, that's Saw. Sorry,
right?
But they're practically the same thing.
They are, yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know what? See, when it comes to Marvel, I'll just write it off as "In Feige we trust," and I leave it at that.
Well,
but sometimes Disney, I mean, they've had some swings and misses because Lion King for me was a swing and a miss.
Yeah.
Aladdin was a home run, but they're I don't know. I
agree with you. These are not 3 things that I'm excited about.
No, not at all.
But when we think about Disney Plus as a property, like as a product, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what they want to do to drive up subscribers, they already have people like me and you. Like they're not interested in getting us to sign up for Disney Plus because we're already going to be there day one.
Yeah, I've been trying to pre-sign up for 3 months now.
Right. So they're not worried about Brian and Shane and the rest of the Plotaholics nation.
No.
They're
trying to get people like Sharon and
they're looking for those people, those families with kids,
that
are too young to be into Marvel and Star Wars.
Right. So I mean, it's a smart idea from it's a smart business idea because you know what, some parents who may feel that some of the things that we can write off as, well, it was the 90s, it was a different time.
Right.
You know, parents can, you know, if they're going to reimagine these things for the modern era, then, you know, their kids can get these things without, you know, some of these parents that get nervous about things that their kids see.
Yeah.
Seeing something they don't want them to see, you know. But I mean, with Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I mean, I liked the book as a child. I was a fan of it.
Well, those movies aren't even that old.
No, they're not. And so I kind of wonder, you know, why not just put the movies on the streaming service and maybe.
Well, I think the idea with the streaming service is, and this is why I think they're going to be serials, because if you put a movie up there, then people can watch it and be done with it. But if you create series, then you're creating the capacity for new content for a while.
Right. And that makes a lot of sense. And that's a good point.
And that's why I think especially that property will be serial, because it's
you can't do that with
series of books, you know?
Yeah, right. And you can't do it with Home Alone. Like, you can't do a series of Home Alone. It has to be movies.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, I think it's just going to end up being a reboot.
Unless Home Alone, now stick with me for a minute. What if Home Alone was reimagined as like an animated series?
I think the crazy over the top violence of the original film would probably fit a lot better in an animated series.
And I think that you can get away with like a repetitive plot in an animated series, like a la Phineas and Ferb. If you put the Phineas and Ferb guys on this show, then it might turn out to be okay.
That's a good point. And I mean, animated series are really booming with BoJack Horseman, and
they're easy to make. They're not the upfront cost might be a little bit, but once you get them, they're super easy to do.
Right, exactly. Once you get your, you know, but the thing is, if they do it as an animated series, now you've got this as well as The Simpsons. You know, you're going to have 30 years of The Simpsons.
Yeah,
that people like me are going to be binging.
Yeah, but again, I don't think that we're the target audience for Home Alone.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
The animated series.
I do think doing an animated series for Home Alone would be best
if you're going to do anything with it.
Right. And once again, parents aren't going to be as Home Alone is dystopian sci-fi. Oh my God.
I'm here for that.
I could see that. And I you know what? Take my money. Just take it. Who needs money anyway?
Isn't that just Alita Battle Angel?
Yeah, I think it is. But I mean, honestly, if Disney did make it, I mean, I would be all for it. I would get down for it. I would watch it consistently.
Yeah.
Because
no, go ahead.
No, I would say too, because like I was saying before, have you ever watched any of the videos on YouTube where they actually get doctors and nurses that actually like break down the injuries that the wet bandits sustain?
No, but I imagine that's pretty good.
Half of the injury, like Kevin murdered them. Kevin is a murderer.
Yeah, he's a murderer for sure.
So having it as a cartoon would probably be much better, where parents would be more comfortable with their kids watching.
Absolutely. I think so too. Switching gears a little bit, here's a service that we haven't talked much about, but I imagine we will be talking a whole lot about it. And that's HBO Max. HBO Max announces that they're going to have the exclusive rights to stream all of the new Doctor Who, which essentially means from 2001 to the present.
That pisses me off. That means that I've got to start watching Doctor Who like mad on Amazon. And that pisses me off because I've been wanting I love Doctor Who, but I can't binge it like crazy.
Yeah.
Because it goes from comedy to horror to drama quick.
It's a lot to watch it.
Take in.
Yeah, I can do maybe, depending on what 2 episodes it is, I can do maybe 2 at a time.
Right. I can only do a couple episodes at a time, and then I get distracted.
But it is a quality show for sure.
It truly is. And I do want to be able to catch up on the latest Doctor. I want to be able to catch up on all of this. I truly do. But I'm not going to go to HBO Max for it. I mean, I love Doctor Who, but I don't love it enough.
You know, HBO Max is interesting. And I wanted to, while I'm thinking about it, mention this other thing that I forgot to include in our news today, which is that Disney has announced that Disney Plus is going to be made available as an add-on to Hulu.
Nice.
Which is something that we predicted.
Yes, we did.
A little while back. So yeah, so I'm excited to hear that. But yeah, so HBO Max is going to be the Warner Brothers streaming service.
Right.
And it's going to have access to the Warner Brothers catalog, all of the TNT, TBS, USA, all of those shows, True TV, and all of the HBO stuff.
Well, it's going to have, this is what it's telling me it's going to have. HBO Max will draw content from the original programming for the services, plus from HBO, Warner Media, as we already said, TNT, TBS, True TV, Adult Swim, Boomerang, CNN, Cartoon Network, the CW. Damn it!
That one's going to be competitive, brother. That one's going to be.
Now I've got it.
That one's a competitor.
DC Entertainment, Looney Tunes, New
See,
Line
this is something that we called too.
Yes, we did. I mean, eventually
would be absorbed into one of these.
Exactly. And that means that now I'm not going to be able to catch up on the CW like I'm used to.
Right.
And if I want to re-binge Supernatural, I would have to go to HBO Max. Yeah. And that also means the British version of The Office. I mean, a lot of stuff. This is insane. You know, what's crazy is that, and then there's going to be a Gremlins animated comedy fantasy series. I mean, so now it's like,
HBO Max is a competitor.
Yes, it is. That means now I have to get a raise because I'm not getting rid of Netflix and I'm not getting rid of Hulu. I'm not getting rid of Amazon.
I was about to say, Amazon Prime announces that it is then, even though it's losing Doctor Who, it is developing an Event Horizon series.
Now, this I am excited for. Event Horizon was one of those movies that came before its time. And it should have there's no reason this movie should have flopped. None whatsoever. So I will definitely be, and it's like,
it's Amazon, good to see it getting a little bit of love in the last little bit too.
Exactly. So Amazon it's like, all right, we're losing Doctor Who. We've got this for you. So I mean, these streaming war, it's heating up even hotter than before. The only thing that worries me is that are they going to start busting their prices further up? So now it's going to be cable all over again, because we went to these streaming services to get away from cable.
Yeah.
So now the cable.
I do believe that I believe you're on to something there, because so here's the thing. What I think that the beauty of it is that you'll be able to pick and choose, right? And as long as they stay $15 or less, then you can put together a package for yourself that will cost less than cable.
Yeah, I think so, because when you look at it, I've got Netflix, and I mean, granted that one's a bit high, but it's not terrible. Then I've got Amazon, which is about $12.
Yeah,
I think I'm paying like 17 for Netflix right now. I'm actually paying less for Hulu than I am for anything. Hulu is dirt cheap for me. Right
That's the thing, and if you'll be able to couple that with Disney and maybe just double the price of it.
And that's probably what I'm going to end up doing, because if I'm not going to lose anything from Disney, with Hulu, like if I'm going to have all of Disney Plus along with Hulu, then I might as well just.
You can do a lot of work with that. You can, because Hulu is going to be all of your Fox programming, most of your ABC stuff, unless they decide to jump ship and go somewhere else. But anyway,
so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, speaking of Netflix announces a plan for a Resident Evil series.
I just filled the cup. After, I mean, seriously, with the atrocity of, I'm sorry, I did not like the Paul Anderson Resident Evil film. I liked the first movie.
Yeah, the movies never really did it for me at all. The games, though, are just like, that's some of the best storytelling and some of the best material there. But, it's so hard. And we've talked about this before, too. So difficult to get an adaptation of a video game right.
Absolutely. And
I wanted to talk about Halo today, but we ran out of space in the show. But that's another one that they're trying to do over at.
And I'm excited for that, too. Yeah, because that's going to be a Showtime show. So
and it looks like they're giving it the proper treatment, but I hope that Netflix gives this thing the proper treatment, because
seriously,
even though Netflix giveth, as we all know, Netflix taketh away. And I wonder if this isn't part of the early signs of Netflix's inevitable collapse. They are starting to cancel, and they've canceled shows forever, but there have been more cancellations this year of popular shows. Honestly, they're losing. Go ahead.
I think that public outcry is going to save some of these. Like Santa Clarita Diet needs to. There's no reason to have canceled Santa Clarita Diet.
No,
none
or the
whatsoever.
OA.
No, all these shows. Well, the thing is, I think Netflix started getting into this cancellation thing. This is a knee-jerk reaction due to the HBO Maxes and the Disney Pluses. Honestly, when they're running out of content because they're going to their parent companies, whatever, Netflix is going to start bringing some of these back. And honestly,
and the other thing is this, right? When Netflix was the only game in town, they were greenlighting everything. So we got just bombarded with just bullshit programming. Yes. And so now, like, these I think are 4 fine shows that should stick around. The OA, Tuca and Birdie only had 1 season, and it was very well received critically from the people that did BoJack Horseman.
BoJack Horseman is still going strong, and that's something that makes me very happy.
And the thing is, Netflix needs to be more careful with what they greenlight. Agreed. You need more Orange is the New Blacks. You need more Stranger Things. You need fewer. I don't know. You need to maybe stop giving every stand-up comic $70 million to make an hour special.
Sorry, Eddie.
Right.
But you're
I love the Chappelle specials, and they were great.
Yeah,
but are they breaking the bank on stand-up, which is cheap to produce, but they're making it so expensive?
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, how many people is that really going to bring in?
Right. Eddie Murphy, if they get him for $70 million or whatever, it's going to bring in 100,000 people for one day. They're all going to use a free trial to watch the stand-up comedy special and then dip out.
Absolutely. So I seriously think. Well, I think that. Well, here's my prediction, Shane. 2025, the streaming wars are going to be really, really hot and heavy for the next 5 years.
Yeah. 2025,
2026 is going to come about. And a lot of these are going to start going back to the way they were, where 1, 2, maybe 3 centralized streaming services are going to start having the rights of things again.
Yeah, but I think it's going to realign because I think it's going to go more HBO Max, Disney. Plus, and we'll see if if Netflix can survive. But I almost wonder if it won't be Amazon.
It will be Amazon because Amazon made how many billions last year and paid no federal taxes? Amazon's going nowhere.
Right.
And the boys and all of their original content.
That's what I was going to say is they've taken a more quality over quantity approach to their original content.
Well, and they have, and even if some of these movies are, Disney or whatever, they have agreements in place to sell their products.
To sell them, maybe not stream, but sell them.
Right. But they'll still be able to stream them as part of the sales pitch.
Yeah.
So I think in the next 5 to 10, like I said, 5-6 years, it'll be Amazon, it'll be Disney, it'll be HBO, and it'll probably, if it's not Netflix, it may end up being the Universal.
Yeah. The only thing that Netflix is gonna have to back down on its prices again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If they truly want to compete, they're going to have to drop prices. Hulu is dirt cheap right now.
Yeah.
This first year of Disney Plus is going to be dirt cheap right now. And then you're still the stuff that you're paying premium dollar for with Netflix is going to be is available with Hulu already, and that's the HD streaming and the multiple so the multiple screens. So Netflix is going to have to do a price reduction. They're going to have to tighten up their belts. Their CEOs are going to have to make a little bit less money. The CEO is going to have to make a little bit less money. Their board of directors is going to have to make a little bit less money so they can survive.
But they're mostly going to have to stop making bullshit.
Yeah.
TV
I'm sorry.
shows.
As much as I like that Ben Affleck mercenary movie.
Yeah. Well, and even, what is it, The Irishman that they've got coming out, right? Like,
yeah. Now that's going to be an interesting series.
It's going to be good, but my God, how much money are they spending on this stuff?
Yeah, to have Scorsese and De Niro and then aged evolving technology.
Yeah, right.
That's
Bryan, I believe that catches us up on this week's edition of the Stream Wars. And you know what that means?
Oh, yeah. Plotaholic mini review!
My greatest regret that we do that the way that we do that is that people can't see you sing it because it's what dreams are made of. Now, Bryan has a special guest coming in for our very first mini review, and that is a review of Hobbs and Shaw, the Fast and the Furious spinoff.
All right, I'm actually now, as it stands, I just unplugged Shane my my headset.
Okay.
So because it's going to be hard for Bryan Jr. to hear.
All right.
So hold on, I'm fixing things along now. Okay, so I just unplugged my headphones, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to hear you.
Yeah.
Yep, I can hear you.
And hopefully without too much echo.
No, there's no echo at all. So I'm actually going to bring on to screen now. Come on over this way, bud. My son, Bryan Jr. Here he is.
Special guest Bryan Jr.
Yeah. Say hi.
Hi.
And of course, he's getting in roaring on his pizza because we had Subway before. All right, put the food down. If I can't eat, you can't.
Come on, Bryan Jr. Get your head in the game.
All right, Duder. So tell all the Plotaholics out there what you thought of Hobbs and Shaw. Dude, this kid is a professional. He took notes.
Yeah,
nice. I never take notes. So nice. all right, Duder. So talk about Hobbs and Shaw. Go ahead.
Honestly, I think it would get out like 9 out of 10.
All right, so you hear that, guys? Bryan Jr. is actually even going off of the typical Plotaholics rating, and he gives Hobbs and Shaw a 9 out of 10. Well, I wasn't going to explain the whole concept of shot to a 10-year-old.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So, that sounds like about a one-shotter to me, though.
Yeah, I think so. Well, go ahead. So start telling us. So, dude, what did you like about Hobbs and Shaw? Look at the camera.
How the cultures could mix together and still not be crappy.
Give us an example. Like how did they? Which cultures got mixed together?
English and
Samoan.
So
you liked how? I'm going to put words in your mouth. So tell me if I'm right. You liked how the Shaw family dynamic kind of mixed in well with the Samoan Hobbs family dynamic. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Where it shows how even though they're different, they're still the same. Cool. So what else did you like? Or did you just talk about what you didn't like afterward?
I think Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham did freaking awesome. Honestly,
so Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham were freaking awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a quote.
You like the action scenes.
I wrote the fighting action was thrilling.
Thrilling.
Yes,
that word choice.
That is his own word. They were thrilling. Now, who did you think? Who did you like better, Hobbs or Shaw?
Neither.
You like them both the same?
Yep.
No, the right answer is Idris Elba.
Yeah. Did you like Idris Elba, or was he too much of a villain? Idris Elba was, I'm Black Superman.
That's racist.
Okay. But did you like him? Oh, cool. All right. So what didn't you like about Hobbs and Shaw?
Honestly, in my opinion, no offense to the cast of Hobbs and Shaw, but I think they sort of overdid the hatred against each other.
You know what? I have to agree. In my review, in my written review, I sort of said the same thing. Matter of fact, and and we even said this to each other during the movie. Bryan leaned over to me and he goes, "Dad, we know they don't like each other. Why do they keep showing us that?"
Yeah, right. Why are they spending so much time?
And they really did. I mean, some of the jokes. Do you mind if I take over for a second? Is that cool? Or do you want to? Do you have some more? Or can I make a point?
You can take over for me.
All right. So it's sort of like a lot of the jokes from the movie are dependent on the contention between Hobbs and Shaw.
Right.
And I mean, okay, that's cool. But let's be honest, most of the people that are going to go see this movie are going to see it because of Dwayne Johnson. And because they're going to a movie for Dwayne Johnson, they have seen the previous Fast and the Furious movies with Dwayne Johnson.
This is a movie if you're not a fan of the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Or Dwayne Johnson. Right. You're not going to see this movie if you're not a fan.
Yeah, because
and you're not going to see this movie if you're not Dwayne Johnson.
The names Hobbs and Shaw are not the Avengers. It's not Captain America. Like, these are not names that you would know if you weren't in that lore, you know?
Exactly. So a lot of the contention, we already know. We get it. They're polar opposites. They don't like each other. Okay. Can we keep up with the movie? But
right.
A lot of the backbone of the movie depended on the contention. So it's like, I feel like the writing they could have done better. Is that fair? Okay. What else was there? You said so we got to that part. We talked about that part. We talked about that part. All right. So is there anything else that you wanted to say about it? This is your time to say it. I'm not going to say anything else for a few minutes.
I'm not quite sure what to say, so.
Well, I mean, is there anything else about the movie that you want to say that you liked, that you didn't like?
Oh my God, it's so hard to not spoil it.
It really is. It really is. And you know what, though? You did a great job in your review not spoiling it. I think you did great. You know what?
You did a good job.
You're going to be better at this than I am. Actually, I got to be careful. Shane's going to probably replace me with you. It's not like he's going to have to change the names or anything.
Right.
So but I'm not an author, so.
Yeah, that's not yet, but you could be. But is there anything else you want to say?
Honestly, I just want to ask if any of the viewers have any questions.
Oh, okay. Bryan Jr. wants to know if anyone has any questions about
Turn
his
it to the viewers.
Yeah, do any of the viewers want to know anything? You know what? If we don't, I'll tell you, and I'll piggyback off of what my son said. You know, a lot of this movie, it was a lot of fun. It's a fun popcorn summer action flick. It really is.
The popcorn was actually really good.
Yeah, that popcorn, and it was free too, so it was good popcorn.
Bryan, do you think to go back to my point, do you think that you need a background in Fast and Furious lore in order to get this movie?
What do you think, dude? Do we need to have watched the other Fast and the Furious movies?
Probably, to get it.
To get into the movie?
To get what they're saying.
Yeah, to sort of get where they're coming from.
The dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, honestly, now here's the thing. I might have a mild spoiler, very mild.
I wish I had like an alarm or something.
Now, well, see, here's the thing. I believe in my written review, I gave this film a 3-shot rating.
Oh, that is a middle of the road for sure.
It was either a 2 or 3, and this is primarily why. Because every time, now for one, Helen Mirren is amazing. Mm-hmm. Helen Mirren, as always, is amazing. Vanessa Kirby, oh my God. Woo! Vanessa Kirby as Hattie Shaw is amazing. But did Owen Shaw die and no one told me? Because it's almost like he is the Meg of the Shaw family.
Right.
He is never mentioned. He is never brought up. When they talk about the Shaw children's childhood, they only talk about things that Deckard and Hattie did. Owen is not mentioned. So throughout the whole movie, what about Owen?
By the way, he has a crush on Vanessa Kirby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
probably
a lot of us do, if we're honest.
Yeah, there was actually a scene where she was getting ready to give Dwayne Johnson the Black Widow treatment with the Hurricane Rana. And I was like, and I actually said out loud, "You lucky bastard."
He literally said it. I'm like,
nice.
Yeah.
She's not attractive. Like,
That's a lie.
Well, I think that that's probably going to have to do it for us on Hobbs and Shaw. Thank you guys.
It's a movie that if you're a fan of the Fast and the Furious films, go and see it. If you're a fan of Dwayne Johnson, go and see it. If you're looking for one of those summer
better or worse than Skyscraper?
Oh, way better than Skyscraper.
Okay.
Way better than Skyscraper.
in the middle, better. In the middle.
In the middle.
Got it.
So thanks, Duder. High five.
Yeah, thank you so much, Duder.
Thanks, dude. You did great. I'm proud of you.
It's Bryan Jr.
Yeah, only I'm allowed to call him Duder.
That's fair. That's fair. Thank you much, Bryan Jr.
Thank you, son. All right, go on ahead back. Go ahead.
Why?
Because your appearance is over. You don't want to be like Homer Simpson when he bowled the 300 perfect game.
Because we're about to talk about.
Yeah. Now we're going to talk about The Boys, and I need to start this. I have not had a chance to start this yet, but I am so excited to.
I'm one episode from the end of season 1. Probably finish it tonight. It's very good, and I don't want to say too much. I mean, if you've read the comics, which I was unaware of, but I've been reading a lot about them as I've been watching the series. It is incredibly graphic, but in the best ways, you know. And I wrote about this show for Plotaholics.com last week, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about it. But so far, I give this thing probably a one-shotter. Like, it's real good. It's real good.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to watch this. This
the
is
first episode, like from the top, it's got you. Like, you don't. It's none of this like bullshitting around. Like, it's going to have you from the top.
Well, Carl Urban especially grabs me right away. Just knowing Carl Urban is involved in this.
There's a whole lot of there. The cast is remarkable. Like, you should watch the first episode. Well, you're watching Say Anything tonight.
I'm watching Say Anything tonight, and then who's in this besides Carl Urban?
Oh, let's see. A bunch of people that I was unfamiliar with the exception of let's see, her name is Elizabeth Shue.
But Elizabeth Shue, okay, so she's nice.
Elizabeth Shue plays the, I guess, sort of like the CEO of Vought International, which is the organization that runs the superheroes. The superheroes work for this company.
Okay.
So they're almost like private contractors in a way. They work out these deals to send superheroes to cities on contracts and things like that. And she's the head lady in charge of that. The other folks here, Carl Urban, that's who you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
This dude is money in this show. He's so good.
Nice.
And Chase Crawford plays this character, the Deep, who is the sleaziest character on the show. Probably the most terrifying character is Homelander, played by Anthony Starr. Yeah, man, and you know there's Simon Pegg is in this.
Nice.
He's a minor character, but he's very good. He plays this kid Huey's father, but he's very good. But yeah, so you have these superheroes that are just all really kind of shitty people. And
so the heroes are jerks.
Right. And the Boys is this group of sort of like underground mercenaries that are trying to take this group down. They're trying to take down the superheroes.
Nice.
Yeah, it's real good. And the group of heroes at the center of the show is called the Seven, and it is a direct correlation to the Justice League. Nice. You have Homelander, who is in a blue suit with an American flag cape, who's Superman. You have Queen Maeve, who is the Wonder Woman counterpart. You have the Deep, who is the Aquaman counterpart. So like it's very one of my favorite recurring bits is the Batman character. His name is Black Noir.
Okay.
And he doesn't do anything. Like every time, like he's been in one fight so far and it was fine, but usually they just show he never talks either. He hasn't said anything in 7 episodes. And they have a meeting and Homelander's just like, Black Noir, good job as always. And Noir's just like, he's like always making tea or something. It's hilarious.
That is too cool.
Yeah, but it's really funny. But yeah, as soon as you get finished with Say Anything, tomorrow night maybe you can watch an episode of this.
Oh, that sounds great. Well, actually, I probably won't be able to because we're recording tomorrow.
That's right.
So
Yeah, but this weekend.
This weekend, absolutely.
And speaking of this weekend,
opening this weekend.
Yeah, opening this weekend. I pulled 4 this time. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, The Kitchen, Dora, and The Lost City of Gold, and Bryan Banks.
Yeah.
Anything here catch your interest?
No, not really. As much as I like Melissa McCarthy, not really. None of these really catch me. Like, I haven't even really... The only one of these that I heard anything about was Dora the Explorer. And I'm really hoping that the whole movie is going to be Michael Pena narrating it through everyone else.
That would be excellent. I'm excited for Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It's based on a children's book of horror stories, sort of like what we were talking about earlier with Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Gotcha.
So it should be interesting. And it looks, the trailer is terrifying, and I can't believe that we haven't looked at it yet. Bryan Banks is, again, this comes courtesy of probably Wikipedia, is the inspirational true story of Bryan Banks, an All-American high school football star who finds his life upended when he's wrongly convicted of a crime he didn't commit. Despite the lack of evidence, Banks gets railroaded through a broken justice system and sentenced to a decade of prison and probation. Years later, with the support of Justin Brooks and the California Innocence Project, Banks fights to reclaim his life and fulfill his dreams of playing in the NFL.
See, I would like to see, now this, I would definitely like to see. I remember hearing about this case, and this was actually a case where, especially, in the Black community. Well, I don't want to speak for the Black community, but I do want to say that, as a Black male, hearing about this case, it's like, oh my God, here they go. Here it goes again. You got someone who's on the fast track of getting somewhere in life, but because, false accusations, and it takes you on a very, very thin line where you need, the victims of sexual assault deserve a voice 150,000%. However, at the same token, everyone also deserves to have evidence presented so you don't run into a situation like this.
Yeah.
And it's sad that individuals will, lie, and how it ruins a person's life. So, I mean, now I feel kind of bad that I didn't even know that this was so under my radar. I'll probably have
to put you on blast, Bryan.
Okay. Yeah.
Didn't
I'm
mean
on
to.
blast now. It's happened. It's okay though.
But yeah, so those are the 4 that I chose that are opening this weekend. And honestly, like, Dora will make a ton of money for whoever's putting that out. And Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, I might have to go see it.
See, I probably do. I probably want to see, I probably want to see the blah blah blah.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah, Scary Stories to Tell in Bryan Banks. I would like to see those. Dora the Explorer. I'm not going to see Dora the
Explorer. We're not target audience, but we have some moms that watch, and maybe the
Take
moms
your girls to see it. Take your girls to see it.
Bryan, when I was in college, I would fall asleep on the couch watching Nick at Night.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And I would wake up for class the next day, and Dora the Explorer would be on TV. And I would get so angry at her because she had a talking map, which is like a GPS essentially, but she always asked the audience where she went and where she was going to go next.
Right.
Like, we knew better than a GPS. Also, there was only one road. So,
so why do you need our?
Right. I would just yell at the TV in the mornings, just like, Dora, there's only one way to go.
Well, see, what gets me about it is, at least in the trailer I saw, they actually do that bit, and her dad's like, "Who is she talking to?" Like, she'll grow out of it.
That's funny.
And that is funny. So I have a feeling that this could be the sleeper of the summer.
Maybe. Well, real quick, let's just run through it again. It is the Summer of Cusack. Catch the Hot Tub Time Machine episode if you haven't. It went up last week. Say Anything drops next Monday, and then we'll have a slew of big news for you for the podcast on the other side of that.
Yeah, the podcast news is going to be really, really big. We've been putting a lot of, excitement towards, our live shows and stuff like that. But we're going to have something really, really big for the podcast. The podcast is just we're going to be grown. We're going to be growing this. We're not just trash talking. We told you guys a couple of months ago that we were going to be growing, and the fall of 2019 is when the Plotaholics is going to grow.
It's going to pop off.
Boof. We're going to set this biatch off like Queen Latifah in a late 90s, early 2000s flick. That's right. Everyone believes.
So real quick, if you are listening or watching us wherever, hit the subscribe, hit the notifications button, follow us all over the internet at Plotaholics. And on the way out today, Bryan, as both of us are writers, we lost a giant today in the literary community. And that is Toni Morrison, the novelist of Beloved and The Bluest Eye, and a lot of other works.
And this is very, very sad. Yeah, she was a titan. She was a lot of things to a lot of people, an inspiration, and she'll be missed. And rest in peace.
Yeah, we lost a good one today for sure.
Absolutely. Nothing else I can really say about that. That kind of
Yeah, you don't know where to put that in the broadcast. Do you put it at the top or do you put it at the end?
Yeah, I think putting it at the end is probably the better way to go.
But you definitely want to give Morrison her due. She was excellent at what she did and deserved all of the accolades that came her way. But I guess that'll just about do it for us for today, Bryan.
Yes, it will. We've put a lot out there. We've done a lot. It's been a great show, and
we did this thing at a breakneck pace.
Yes, we do. And you know what? As far as I know, all of our vacations and sabbaticals are over. We are back in. We are back. You can go to our website, plotaholics.com, for our news articles as well as all of our content as well. Shane's got you already did your review of The Boys.
Yeah, right? Kind of.
Yeah, so you'll be able to read that on the website. You'll be able to read my my spoiler review of Hobbs and Shaw. I tried to make it as light of spoilers as possible, but you'll be able to read that as well. So you'll be able to read our content. You'll be able to view our content. You'll be able to listen to our content. We are attacking your senses, people.
That's right. Yeah, just wait until we start attacking the sixth one.
Oh, so, it's coming. It's coming.
You are going to listen to us to death.
Yeah.
And that's how we get you.
If you're not careful, we might end up being on your clothes.
That's right. Yep. For the Plotaholics, I am Shane Wilson.
And I'm Bryan 10.
We'll see you again real soon. We're the Plotaholics, ripping plots apart for you.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Great show. Great show.